that anyway. I think he brushed his teeth this morning too, so. All right.
Let's get out of the red a little bit.
Get out of the red.
Put it on the right, the door.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we don't want to go too far, much farther than that. I mean,
There we go. That's fine.
is that all right?
Yep.
Looks good, right?
Yep.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah, rolling.
All right, Bill, we're gonna start with an easy one. Tell me your name and spell it.
It's William Brown, William Brown.
Did you go by William back in high school?
Bill, yeah.
You went by Bill?
Yeah.
Bill Brown? Okay. So what was life like back in Frederick back in the mid to late 50s?
Well, just general life, I think we all thought it was a pretty nice life on there. It's a quiet town and crime was not around. You didn't lock your doors to cars or your house or anything. Drugs were really non-existent. So mostly it's just a lot of people that you started out with school and were going through all of your entire school years with them. Very, very little people moving in and out.
Was there any racial tension back then?
Racial tension? As far as the community is concerned, there was, yes. I don't know of any between the football teams and things like that.
Yeah. What year were you in school back in 56? Were you a
Well,
senior?
I was a senior in that
Senior.
year.
All right. How did the community feel when you guys decided to integrate the football team?
I don't think that any of us really had any opinion one way or the other on that. Now, some of the older people in town were against it. And in fact, there were two or three that, and I can't name their names, I don't even know who they were now, forget about it, but they wouldn't let their sons play football. But the rest of us, we just wanted to play football.
How did your families feel and your girlfriends and things?
Well, my dad was superintendent of schools, so he was in favor of it, obviously, on there, and he was over the black teachers and everybody on there, said that they were good friends of his, so he was, I think, probably just in favor of it. So I don't even remember any remarks from anybody else.
But yeah, if your dad was superintendent, then he was encouraging
Yeah.
of the integration. So what did you play?
I played right tackle on offense and defense.
How were practices? Were they tough? Were they pretty hard? I mean, was coach tough on you guys? Was it, did you guys get beat up in practice? Or
You did football, you're gonna have some contact. And, but no, people beating up on each other, you're trying to develop your style, you're trying to do the hitting and the angles, the speed, everything in that area, more of the technical areas. And yeah, he tried to get you doing as much as you possibly could and extend your abilities.
Was Coach Wild a yeller, a screamer, or was he just soft-spoken?
I'd say he's louder than than most probably on it. So yeah, he'd yell at you. Usually he was doing a lot of things, but at comical stage really, as much as he really wasn't making anybody mad. He was just getting after it. He'd yell at you, tell you some of these things. But
Did he treat all kids the same? Like, on any team, some kids need a little harder push than others. Did he change his level?
I don't remember him doing that, no. I think it was just everybody the same.
I've heard, he was your only coach on game night, so he called the offense, the defense, all that. Did you guys, now they have the hurry-up offense where you guys would run, teams would run 4 and 5 plays. Did you guys do that?
No, not to I don't remember us doing that. So.
But you're a running team?
Yeah, well, primarily running, but passing enough to keep them honest.
Mhm. Do you remember the tension during the games when you guys would play?
Tension.
I mean, like racial tension, like some.
No. We, like I say, we didn't know what it was gonna work out to, and really, once we got together, we were friends really quickly. And I know that Lloyd Logan played behind me, going offense and defense, and we were partners. In fact, we actually made up some signals and things like they do now, that, as far as where to charge and where not to, particularly on defense. And we were just, we were two-man team on playing those things, so no problems at all.
So were you friends outside of the football team? Did you all hang out?
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't know each other socially, really, didn't that much on there. The only time I was really around blacks too much is that, you know, when we were out picking cotton or something like that, then if everybody was doing the same thing, it was, you know, something like that.
Is that what you did during the summers?
Well, it was actually during the falls. Usually, the black schools used to turn out at that time, and because that was the main income for their families. In fact, they made about 95% of their income during this month and a half or so. And we basically just went in the weekends and did something.
So you play a game on Friday night and Saturdays and Sundays?
Friday nights,
Friday nights.
except for the playoffs.
Yeah. So your dad, how was, did you get the whole community, you know, as far as, because you had Boyd and Frederick, do you remember in the stands, did they intermingle? Or was it just, you know, home games?
Primarily, there were blacks and there were whites, and particularly to start with.
Mhm. As you guys started winning, because I mean, I went through the newspapers yesterday, and you guys didn't get a whole lot of respect back then. I mean, it was, you'd see the front page, and you guys were always on the back page and maybe get a little paragraph or something. Even after you won the state, there was no front page news there. Did you guys notice, like, feel unappreciated back then?
No, not to my knowledge. Football was life at that time. In a small town, primarily, I think most small towns are that way. Before the football games, everybody had bean suppers at their churches, and then they went to the football games. And I remember us going to away games in this small town here, and we'd have cars lined up. It looked like Field of Dreams or whatever. We had cars lined up for 5 miles to go to the away games, and often we had more people there than the team that we were playing. So it was just a part of the life then.
How did playing for Frederick and Coach Wild mold you as a person?
Oh, that would probably the first time really strong as you, he taught you the basic things on the thing, and primarily to continue increasing your ability to do what you're doing. In other words, you want to put out more than you think you can put out, and continue doing that so you can grow.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, we just, normal football team. So.
Did you stay around Frederick after high school?
No, I went to Oklahoma after that, to school. Played a couple of years at OU. So.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
And how was that?
It was a fantastic deal. I had the opportunity to play under Bud Wilkinson, one of the greatest coaches, I think the greatest coach of all time. But he was the best motivator of human beings I've ever seen in my life.
Similar to, how did Bud compare to Coach Wild?
Well, Bud probably had a little stronger ability at that point because he'd had more time to work with a lot of it and in college and went to it. Bud took a bunch of average players, or pretty average players, and in a space of a year or two made them into outstanding players.
How did Coach Wild help you guys get, you know, play in college? Did he talk to coaches did he talk to Coach Wilkinson and things? Do you remember?
I don't have any idea. The only thing I knew about it, I never did know anything about it at all until one of the coaches from Oklahoma ended up after our season and was in the principal's office, and they called me in, and he basically offered me a scholarship. I didn't think I was even going to go to there. Quite frankly, I thought I was going to the Air Force Academy. And they pretty well okayed it at that time, and then being a young man and liking football, and OU said, come here, it changed that, so.
Yeah, that's a big change, but quite an honor to play for Coach Wilkinson.
Yeah, it really was, and he could, the improvement that you made was just impossible to believe, really. And the players cared about him so much, and he was such a quality individual. We heard him say a cuss word one time. He said, damn. It's a Nebraska game in 1958. But, and that he would say that, though, the players respected him so much. Now, these are normal players where, I don't think very many of us were going to be preachers when we got out. But that he would say that at the halftime of that game, the team felt that let him down, we let the coach down. And over half the people in that room started crying. These are athletes. That there was so much respect for him. And like I said, I wasn't a great player, but after that halftime, we beat them pretty bad. It was so bad I even got in the game.
Going back to high school, what honors what did you accomplish? I mean, as far as personally, were you all district, all region, all state? How?
Well, it was. I wasn't expecting any, so I was very surprised at any of them. But well, I was all district and all area and all region and all state, and honorable mention All America. So.
Wow.
But I wasn't expecting one at all, so it was a very big surprise. I was wanting to get all district. That was my goal.
Going back to high school, what did it mean to play for Frederick back then? I mean, was it an honor to?
Yes, it was. Again, it's a mixture, and you had people with families that are coming in after the game, building up somebody's older brothers, and people were into it all the time. And yeah, play for Frederick, it was an honor.
Any final thoughts on coach or the team, or
Any what?
any final thoughts? Are you guys still close now?
No, it's just he was a great coach, and I know it toward the end of the season we were in the playoffs, and the team of Temple, we were playing them, and we were really proud of our defense, maybe more so than our offense, but they were driving at the end of the game for a touchdown, and it was one of the 4 scores we'd had all year long. And, we asked Coach to let the starting defense, we were playing both, but to go back in and stop them. And can we do it, Coach? And Coach said no. He said, we're not going to work that way. We're not going to run up the score. We're just going to play and do our thing, but we're not going to do any of that. And you learn to appreciate that later on, because that's exactly what he should have said and did say. He didn't want to create a problem with the other coaches, the other towns, and the respect of the players themselves. They've got to have some feelings also.
Yeah. Well, I read you guys actually lost an exhibition game. Was there doubt within? I'm sure there was doubt within the community that having lost the exhibition, this could be a long season.
Are you referring to pre-season?
Yes, preseason.
Well, yeah, we had some scrimmages against Lawton, was the big team, and they were supposed to be the best team in the state at that time, and had a lot of quality athletes. I think they had 5 that went to OU that year, and so it was a good game. I remember very clearly. It was about 104 degrees, and it was in August in Oklahoma, and we were, to my memory, we were ahead of them after about an hour of the scrimmage, and then they came in and overcame that at the end of the game, and I think they beat us by like a touchdown. But we still wonder if we could, on heads, Actually, the people that were playing against me, one of them went to OU as a tackle, and the next year, another one, the second stringer, went to play college football, and they were rotating against me to where we didn't have a lot of the players to rotate in those games. So I think we could have done well, but they had a lot of outstanding players, and Ronnie Hartline, their running back, was an All-American, and was in the All-American team that year. So
Did you guys play them again during the regular season?
no, we were on schedules on there. We'd had another scrimmage against a large school of Duncan and beat them pretty badly. Actually, a couple of teams were in A and we were in B on there that it was Altus and Clinton, and neither one of them scored against us. But
It's funny because looking at these newspaper articles, Coach Wild, every game, he said, this is a tough team. I don't know if we can win this one. I don't know how our boys can stack up. Was he always like that? I mean, because he knew you guys. I mean, you'd
Yeah,
read that, then you'd see win 70-0.
he wanted you to go in and to start putting out 110% when you started that game. And that was one of the ways that he did that. You always you never know what they're going to do when they come out there. Everybody's out there. Both teams are out there wanting to win those ball games pretty bad. So that was just the way he tried to motivate people.
Did you rotate players? I mean, you said you're playing both ways. A lot of players played both ways.
Most of us played both ways probably. We probably had about 3 or 4 that just played offense or defense.
I mean, just having one coach on the sideline, how would you guys rotate? Would he, Bill get back out there, or were you just out there every single play?
Well, no, he had an assistant coach that was there with it on the sidelines. We didn't have the 8 or 9 coaches that you have now and all of them, but
Yeah.
But we just knew our jobs, and that's just what you did. I mean, you either played offense or defense. Jim Williams was an offensive quarterback, but didn't play defensive half or something like that. So it was just automatic when we changed, we were just out there.
Were you guys you think you're just in better shape than the other teams?
I'm sorry,
Were you in better shape than other teams, just as far as your conditioning?
Well, it's kind of hard to measure that against other teams on there. I felt that I don't know if we were just in that much better shape, or if we were faster or quicker, or what it might be on there. But all I know is the people I got in front of. So,
Yeah.
and I would assume that they were probably in a pretty much equal shape.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for this. This is quite an honor to be here.